All right, thanks for coming to this Munch and Learn. As you can see, the topic for today is AI versus BI. And you might have some preconceived expectation for this workshop. Primarily, I'm touching some very basic stuff about artificial intelligence and how we can leverage it for our own business. And we're going to explore some prompts. As you can see on the worksheet on your table, there are 2 pages to that. Make sure you're on the page that says brand intelligence. That's where we're going to start off with. So when I say AI versus BI, I am not talking about artificial intelligence versus business intelligence. It's more about artificial intelligence versus brand intelligence. I'm a brand coach, brand strategist, and that's what I talk about and do day in, day out. AI is at one point quoted to have an intelligence pretty much close to Albert Einstein. And it sounded so intimidating because where does that put us, right, as human beings? However, I feel like because of who we are, we have more intelligence, and it shouldn't just be measured by IQ. We have emotional intelligence, we have cultural intelligence, and we have brand intelligence. And together, this will actually make us a lot more superior. And AI is a tool that we cannot be afraid of. We just need to know how to use it properly. One of the tenants from 3810 had said this one time. AI is kind of like a dog that you have to put a leash on. So the goal here is to put a leash on it. You cannot let it run loose. You need to know how to use it. So that being said, I want to go through really quickly what brand intelligence is. And the brand system is a system that I developed over the last 10 plus years of working with as an in-house marketing specialist to working with small businesses. And I realized that we are also busy, right? And when we talk about branding, it feels so overwhelming. The goal of the brand system is to simplify the concept of branding so that it's not intimidating, but have questions that you can always ask yourself as a business owner to constantly evaluate where you are in the eyes of the people that you're trying to reach. So the brand system is made up of 5 key questions that uses the letters of the word brand. So on that page that you have in front of you has those 5 questions. I'm going to run through those very quickly because I can do another workshop that covers that in depth. I also have an ebook that you guys as tenant can buy at a discounted rate if you kind of want to go through the outline. So B is for that question, what are you in the business of selling? I often ask people, if you are, say, a mattress company, what are you in the business of selling? You can be in the business of selling a good mattress, and you can be in the business of selling a good night's sleep. Your answer to that question will affect how you present yourself to the people that you're trying to convince to buy your products and or services. So I would want you to think about your own business and think about what is your good mattress? What is that tangible, measurable value that you're providing to the consumer? Then think about what is your good night's sleep, which is that intangible value and the emotional value that you're trying to appeal to the people that you're selling to. The second question, R, is who are you trying to reach? We oftentimes fail to recognize if you are a growing business, one of the people that you're trying to reach are your internal audience, your employees, on top of who you're trying to sell to, which is your external, your customer. So keep that in mind when you think about who you're trying to reach as a business. How do you act every day is the A in the brand system, and that is all about how you live and breathe your brand. So if you are all about filling the blanks, the 2 blanks there is live and breathe your brand. All talk is useless if you don't act on it, right? So you can be all about your products or your services, but if you don't act it out and it doesn't reflect what you believe in, then it means nothing to the people that you're trying to sell to or people that you're trying to hire to work with. We're going to touch on specifically some actionable items when it comes to how you act every day in terms of touch point. Once we explore what AI can do for us as far as providing insight, the question is how do we translate that to being consistent in the different touch points. So the 3 touch points as listed out on that page are everything online, everything on print, and everything on site. So I'll flash that out in a bit. N is what is your niche. This is not just about having the most original product or services out there, because if you do have one original idea, in a few months' time, someone's going to come with another one that is cheaper, better, whatnot. So niche needs to be not only about your offering, but also about the culture that you're trying to develop within this business that you're growing, whether it's just your one-man show or a multi-level type of organization. D, the last one, is what drives you to excel. These are essentially your core values, right? You might hear this buzzword around, what is your why? You need to know why you're doing what you're doing, not what you're trying to sell. What is the why behind what you choose to do as a business? So these are the 5 main elements of a brand that I like to help business owners to wrap their head around, because they're so busy with the day-to-day operational decisions and whatnot. But these are key questions that you can ask, and then you can go deep enough before you decide, I'm going to invest more in fleshing out that brand. All right? So that's a very quick intro to what brand intelligence is all about. If you flip to the next page, we're going to jump right into artificial intelligence. For the purpose of this workshop, AI is a big generic term, all right? When we are talking about generative artificial intelligence, which is what we're going to try to use today to see how you can leverage that tool. So there's a lot more things happening. We have AI happening in our life, right? Siri, Alexa, Google, all those are actually AI. And most of you may have used tools like Canva or MailChimp, and they have embedded AI into the whole software thing. However, my goal today is to help you all appreciate the foundational generative artificial intelligence in the form of ChatGPT and Gemini. So these are 2 what I call text generative AI. Use those with very specific prompt to get you inspired, because again, we're busy, right? Sometimes we don't have that headspace to think about strategy, and you can use generative AI in the form of ChatGPT or Gemini to help you get that going. You are still the person with a leash. We're not saying whatever AI generate for you, you can use it wholesale, because you are ultimately the master of your own brand. You are the founder of your business, so you have to take reign, and you need to evaluate what AI is telling you. It is not about allowing AI to dictate what we do with our brand. It's about using brand intelligence to drive artificial intelligence. Like I said, ChatGPT and Gemini, I'm going to show you the screens and give you some basic tools on or like the interface of AI. This is a typical setup of Gemini. It's owned by Google. So for as long as you have a gmail.com email address, you automatically have a Gemini account. The sidebar doesn't open up typically, but when you click on that sidebar up top, it will show you a history of the prompts that you have used. So prompting is another term that you should be familiar with. Now for Gemini, it's the same thing as ChatGPT, okay? The other thing I like to remind people that use AI for this purpose is to always ask the question within the same prompt in relation to your business. Because think of AI as someone that you talk to, and the more you share about yourself, the more intelligent it gets. And then it will crawl whatever data is out there in the World Wide Web to give you some insight you may not have or you may already know. So this is all about knowing what to tell AI about you, which is why having that brand intelligence is important. You need to be able to answer those questions for yourself from the B all the way to the D, and then you feed AI with those information. On that page on artificial intelligence, I have some prompts that I have found to be useful. I assume we all have a business name, so I'm not going to dive into how to use AI to inspire things like a business name or even a logo. The prompts are down there anyway. So, okay, so you hear me say prompts. Prompts are essentially questions that you ask AI. Talk to AI like you talk to a person, all right? And for this demonstration, we're going to pick an industry. So this will be as new as it is to you as it is to me. Any suggestion of an industry that you want us to use for this purpose? Shout it out. Solar? Obviously, right? But you have tried this before. Have you?
I haven't used it.
Okay. Just for fun. All right. So we are in the solar business. All right. You want to use your company's name?
Sure.
Okay. And that is what? Okay.
Think solar. Okay.
Think solar. Okay. So this is what I'm going to start off with. If you follow with me, I'm going to adjust some of the prompt briefly. But the first prompt is okay, so my company is called Think Solar. I spell it right, correct?
Right.
Okay. So since you offer up your company, I'm going to ask you all those questions. What is your good mattress?
Energy savings and tax incentives.
Okay. Is that more a good night's sleep or
Yeah.
good mattress? That's a good night's sleep, right? So I'm in a business of helping people save energy, right? Is that what you say? And what's the other one?
Tax incentives.
Okay, and get tax incentive. I happen to be selling solar panels. And how would you describe your good mattress typically?
Good metrics.
Yeah, how would you describe your product? You just tell people I sell and install solar panel?
Yeah.
Okay. So that will be your good mattress, right? Those are the tangible product. Now, any business owner needs to know your market environment. So you can use ChatGPT or Gemini to give you some top name brand that play in the same industry as you. Their suggestion may be right and may be wrong, but it's up to you to verify, okay? Give me top 5 companies in my industry that excel in what they do. All right, so this is what the first prompt. I'm gonna hit enter. Now, as an industry expert, you can always verify if these companies do exist by doing internet search. The goal of this, especially for startup and for new businesses, if you don't think you've done enough extensive research, use this as an inspirational piece and go look and mind you, some of these companies may not be for real, and that's the thing about AI. I've tested some prompt and they didn't give me legit company. So that's why, you have to keep it on a leash. But again, like as an industry expert, what AI is doing for you right now, it tells you what their specialty is and it tells you what their strength is. So that might give you some insight. If that company truly exists, is that truly their strength? Is that strength a threat to my company? Is it something that I need to explore further if there is truly a demand for that particular value that consumer are drawn to, all right? So this is one prompt that would generate competition, and you're slowly telling AI about yourself, right? Now, the other prompt that is very useful for, again, new startup is to ask about the pain points of people that you serve. A lot of times, we are so fixated on our own offering, and we're so proud of it, as we should, but we lose sight of who we're trying to provide the solution to. We need to really speak to the pain points of the people that we're trying to convince to use our service or buy our product. And pain points basically means, what problem are they trying to solve in their life? How can my business fit into that environment? So this prompt, give me 5 pain points that drive a consumer to use a similar business like mine. Yep. Okay, so there goes AI, right? High energy bill. That could probably be a no-brainer. You should know that, and you can verify that. Okay, so this is helping you to understand, do I really know my consumer well? And if high energy bill is one of my selling points, there you go, a verification. And then depending on the detail of the results in the prompt, that might give you further insight or that might not. So just take it for what it's worth. Environmental concern, is that, you think, a top pain point? Okay. Energy independence, concern about energy security, reliability, yeah, okay. Government incentive and rebates, increase property value, does it? Okay. Are there any other pain points that you can think of that is not listed here? Okay, awesome. So you know your market well, and that is great. A lot of business startups don't necessarily know that, and this is a good place to start if you're at loss as to what to do. All right, so that's one pain point. The other prompt that is sometimes worth playing around with is, what are the top 5 reasons consumer may not choose to use us? Okay. Not choose to. And there it goes. High initial cost, is that true?
No, and that's a main thing that we have to overcome.
Okay. All right. Skeptical about savings. All right. Aesthetic concerns. Technical and maintenance worries. Complexity of installation process. Did AI miss anything? Hail, yeah, hail damage. Okay, so that is a very localized concern, which is great because you are in a local market, and you as a business owner and your brand, you are your brand master, you need to know that. So this is good. Again, if you have not thought of any of these, it might cause you to think, why are people not using you, not buying from you? All right? And these are just 5. And I like to go with 5. Sometimes we get overwhelmed when we have too many options. And I'm always an advocate of just get a handle of 1 to 5 things and then do them well. Get a handle of 5 issues, address them well. All right? You can narrow it down to 3 for all I care, right? All right. Do your company have core values that you have listed out and that you'll talk about as a business? What are they? Best value. What else?
Problem solvers and be human.
Problem solving, okay. And?
Be actually local, human.
Okay.
Personal relationships.
Okay. Do you have more than 3?
No, those 3.
Okay. So I'm going to use these core values. Going back to brand intelligence again, in the workshop that I conduct, when we explore what drives you to excel, I ask a lot of why questions. And those why questions will result in you narrowing down your core values. And core values is so important in the way you run your business. And the reason why I asked Doug for his core value, this will help us in our prompt as well. Again, you are making AI a little bit more intelligent and a little bit more intuitive about who you are so that whatever result they generate for you based on your prompt will be more in line with what you believe in. So based on what he just told me, I'm going to type this out. Show me how values like, and I'm going to paraphrase your core values, right? Best values. So values like cost effectiveness. Would that be a good paraphrase of providing the best value? Okay, like cost effectiveness, problem solving, and you say being local and being present, right?
Yeah.
I guess being present. We'll see what AI does with this. So show me how values like cost effectiveness, problem solving, and being present can be amplified through my business. Again, you as the expert in your industry needs to verify what AI generate for you. It might inspire, it might bore you, but it's more about giving it structure. So it actually breaks it down for you. Like when it comes to cost effectiveness, they are suggesting that your pricing needs to be transparent, okay? Almost like a no-brainer, unless you don't want the sticker price to shock people from even calling you up. Flexible financing option, you probably do that, I guess. Do you? Okay. Bundle services, energy efficient audits. And then the value of problem solving. What it's saying here is customized solution. So I understand briefly with talking with your business partner, y'all really sit down and talk to the consumer needs. So that can speak to having a customized solution, expert consultation, obviously, ongoing support and maintenance, if you do that in your process. And then you need to be an educational resource, is one of the suggestions. Being present, so some of the executable ways to amplify your core value as a business is being responsive. Do y'all have a time like, oh, we will always respond within 24 hours, 48 hours? Is that part of your protocol? Yeah. Local community engagement. As suggested here, local community through events, sponsorship, partnership, hosting workshop, participating in local green initiatives, regular follow-up, active social media presence. All right? So again, you can see that if you are at loss, oh, I can have all these core values from quality services to integrity. How does that really flash out in my business? This is a good prompt to give you a start-off place. Now you can then use this to either expand it or to say, no, I don't want to be actively on social media. Then just drop it and come up with something else that appeals to who you are trying to sell to. Because if you are mostly selling to, just an example of grandmothers and grandfathers, they're not going to be on social media. So why use social media to show all your videos and pictures and offer, right? You need to know who you're trying to sell to pick the media that you're going to use. Let's move on to the next prompt, which is the part about giving me 5 topics relevant to my consumer. This will lead us into something that is more executable. A lot of business owners feel, again, that they're overwhelmed with the day-to-day operation, that they don't have time to strategize. Use AI to give you the framework. Give me outlines for 5 topics. Again, I like to go with those numbers. Relevant to my consumer. Now, my prompts can be simplified. I don't have to tell AI in the same thread who I am because it is in the same thread. Whatever I tell AI and interacted with AI earlier provided that foundation already. Okay, it's going to keep going. It's actually pretty in-depth here, as you can tell, but I'm going to let it do its thing. The first topic, so I asked for 5 topics, right? The first topic is about maximizing savings with solar panel. That speaks to one of the pain points that we talked about earlier, right? So I'm going to start writing it out. So this is about saving, right? This topic is all about savings because, again, we want to resonate with the people that we're trying to sell to. I'm not going to dive into the details just yet. The second topic is understanding solar panel efficiency and performance. Is that, you think, a relevant topic? Okay. Panels, efficiency. Yeah. And performance. I'm just capturing main points. The third topic here is environmental benefits of solar energy. So that's another pain point, right? Environmental. Fourth one, installation, what to expect. Future of solar energy. Okay? Future. It is a long-term investment, right? Like initial investment is pretty high, so it's about just letting it drag out so you can start saving. 5 topics. This is the beginning of a strategy for you. If you're thinking, how am I going to make an impression on my employees and on the people I'm trying to sell to on a day-to-day basis, right? If you're on social media, a lot of times you'll be thinking, oh, I haven't posted. What am I supposed to post? This gives you the framework. And we're just not talking about social media here. It's not just about social media. If you look at your touch points, and I've written out here, always be thinking, what is my online presence? How can my online presence, which is everything digital, from your website to your social media accounts if you have them, to even the email that you sent out, how can my online touch point address these 5 topics that are supposedly relevant to the people I'm trying to sell to? On print, it can be your business card to a billboard that you buy along the highway, anything that's printed. And then on site, if you have a storefront or an office that you use to interact with consumer, that is very key. An on-site touch point also addresses your face time with people. How do you talk to them? How do you react to them? How do you respond to them? How you dress in front of them. And in the case of solar panel, when you go on site to install, how your installation team look and sound is very key to your on-site touch point. So again, using a structure like this to think of how you can flesh out all those key topics in these 3 touch points, and you have a strategy. I'm going to dive in to one of those topics. Pick one, Dirk. Which one is?
Okay, online.
Oh, sorry, I meant out of the 5 topics. Pick one, and then we'll dive into the touch point. Can you see?
Let's do savings.
Savings? Okay. Let's see what, Dennis, I'm making you move your camera like crazy, huh? Okay. Let's talk about the savings. Let's look at what the prompt suggested first, all right? Cost efficiency, no, that's not it. I need to go all the way to the bottom. That's topic number 1. Yeah? Now, they can be very comprehensive here. Essentially, it's a good outline. If you want to talk about maximizing saving, you need to have an introduction that gives you a brief overview of how the panel can reduce costs, the importance of understanding the financial benefits, and then they break it down into sections. Again, if you are so exhausted, you don't have the headspace to come up with key points, you have it right in front of you. And then you verify based on your expert knowledge whether this is worth talking about it, do I know how to talk about it, and how am I going to talk about it, which is what we're going to play around in a little bit. So, and I will send you this prompt so you don't have to copy it. And then, yeah. So section 1, upfront cost versus long-term saving as one potential topic. Section 2, government incentive and rebates. Section 3, financial option. This is what ChatGPT is powerful if the facts are accurate. I'm going to ask it to expand on that, all right? Expand on the topic of maximizing savings with solar panels and give me a brief introduction to each points, okay? So AI gave me that topic. I'm asking it to expand upon it. And it's going to give you a whole slew of information, all right? So you keep your hand on that leash and then look at the breakdown. With the rising cost of electricity and growing concern about environmental sustainability, many homeowners and businesses are turning to solar energy as a cost-effective and eco-friendly solution. You can pick and choose. Like this can be, for example, a Facebook post. If you want to talk about the cost of rising electricity, short and sweet, you don't have to think about how to write it. You have an example here, all right? What I'm wanting to do here now, we're going to talk about savings. And we're going to talk about how that topic can be fleshed out throughout the touch point. And then using this as some of the inspiration. So this is an easy one online, right? How can you talk about cost saving online? How have you guys been talking about cost saving online?
A lot. I mean, that's our main.
You just write about it?
A lot of times it's a funny picture or something about saving money, or really more bashing OGV than.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So you use basically text and picture, right? This is just the way you convey the information online, but always keep in mind, can the same picture and the same keywords be used on print if you have a brochure somewhere? Why do you need to consider that? Because when you do have a printed material going out there, someone takes it and reads and see the pictures. When they go to your website at some point just to explore and look, and if they see the same picture again or they read the same information again, it reinforces who you are. So if you use, your color is like the thunder blue color, right? You use that on your website, but then your brochure is a bright orange brochure. There's inconsistency in your brand element. Don't do that, because you want consistency because that builds perceived value. You repeat that, and then you think about your office space. If you have a storefront or office space, if color is one of your key brand component, continue to flash that out on site. As far as savings is concerned, besides bashing, the powers that be, you may show cost saving. It can be in the form of infographics, charts, graphs. Think about how that can flash out in different places, because I think people think differently, learn differently, whether it's graphics or you want to show an actual electric bill of a consumer that have installed solar panel after a year to show the difference, then use that in a blog that you can do a case study about cost saving and address that issue that that particular consumer have talked about or faced at the beginning. So that's very powerful, right? On print, like if you do, again, the invoices that you sent out. Sometimes invoices are boring because the consumer sees it, oh, I have to pay this. But if you can be creative even with your invoice, throw in a testimonial somewhere in there. Just a suggestion. All right? It reminds your consumer, yes, you're paying a lot of money, but think about the potential saving down the road. And then if you do follow up with your consumer, do they have an online account with your company? And then they can check on usage and all that?
Yeah, and how much they're paying.
Okay. Do you push information to them on a regular basis? Or is it more like I have to go in, log in, and check it?
I mean, they can open the app and it shows them live.
So it's an app?
Yeah.
Okay, so app will allow you to push information like notification, or if there's a significant savings, you may prompt them, hey, go check out your savings this month or next month or whatever. All right, so, and that is still talking about savings here. The info that they flash out here, upfront investment, long-term saving. So that is actually a very good visual that you can always do. Show them upfront investment, put a dollar sign to it because you want to be transparent, and then show them the long-term savings. Very good and powerful visual. Then they talk about case study, which is relevant. So if you have existing customer, talk to them, because ultimately it's not just about your product, it's about the people using your product or your service. They need to talk about it. They need to have the ability to talk about it. So in the case of your company, is your consumer able to submit inquiries or feedback via the website and the app? Yeah. So those are the things that you want to even remind them to do if they fail to do it. Government incentive and rebates. It gives you the suggestion of federal incentives, state and local rebates, application processes. You need to show them what they can get, show them how to get it. Some practical example. And I assume you guys do that too.
Yes.
Yeah. Financing option is a big thing, right? And it flashes out for you efficient energy audits. All right, so this is just to give you a glimpse. Again, it's all about having a strategy. And if you are talking about social media presence, think of this as your Monday topic, Tuesday topic, Wednesday topic, Thursday, Friday, you get my drift. And then if you want to take a break on Saturday, again, depending on your audience, right? Are they active on Saturday? If they're active on Saturday, move certain things around. You don't want to stress out as to what you're going to post. This gives you the structure. And then within savings, you can talk a lot about about high energy costs, versus future savings, right? The topic here, like one of the things I caught, okay, loans. How to apply. I'm just breaking it down. So like just one topic in itself you can potentially break it down to 4, if not more topics, right? These can be blog posts. These can be social media posts. So even though we have 5, now that 1 has expanded into 4 more. This could be the first Monday. This could be the second Monday, the third Monday, the fourth Monday. You see the strategy forming here? And then you revisit that again if there's something new that you can talk about. Use AI to flesh out those topics to inspire you on potential subtopics that you can dive further into, while being sure that you are on point with the pain points of the consumer. Then once you have all this content created, you put them aside. Your social media manager, if you have one, can start creating and scheduling, and then you let it run. And this is just social media. There are a lot of potential application between on-print and on-site as well. On-print touchpoint gets expensive. Whatever you print, you cannot change like that. So you need to decide what are the things that you want to do on print. And mostly those are the evergreen content, things that will not change. Energy saving will always be there, but the specific amount of energy that you save will vary. So those are the things that you have to decide what you want to choose to put on print so that you're not wasting a lot of money. This, like I say, is a text generative AI. And sometimes you may be at loss. Okay, what pictures do I use? What pictures can I get? I gave you some resources at the bottom of this page under artificial intelligence. Pixabay is a royalty-free image library. But before I go there, this is one of the prompts that I like to use when people are wanting inspiration. What visual elements should I consider when marketing my business, especially when talking about cost savings? So I'm narrowing down my prompts here. Okay, so it suggests infographics, cost breakdown, using infographic to visually represent the breakdown of cost and savings over time, before and after. So those are just ideas that you can consider showing before and after versus showing cost breakdown. Charts and graph, you probably have tons of that, especially when you have consumer that have used your solution a long time. Testimonials, interactive too. So savings calculator, virtual tour, I'm not sure if you guys have incorporated that. The savings calculator is very popular in the industry of like loans and whatnot. So this could be a good tool to consider. Illustrative icons and symbols. So here they suggested using icons for energy, money, savings to quickly convey the key points. This is a good segue. Sometimes you don't have at your disposal images. Pixabay is something I have used for free for the longest time. And they are royalty free. By that, I mean photographers of these images have put it on this library so that you can use it for free. Instead of you going and searching the internet and finding pictures and saving it, because that will break a lot of copyright rules, Pixabay is a good place to start if you have an account. And they're not going to upsell you, because I hate those bait and switch services where they tease you to use a little bit of the services, and then after that, if you want to do more, you have to pay. So this is a very good piece of resource. The QR code is there. And going back to the prompt, it says that I am supposed to use icons that are universally recognized for energy and money. So I can just type in, energy. Just to give you an idea of the interface, the top strip are images that you have to pay. They are from iStock. Can you see? So skip that and go down to the royalty-free images. And then you can decide for yourself what works for you if you do not already have that picture. Because you're in solar energy, the windmill thing is not going to be relevant, right? Unless you are going to expand into that scope of work. There you have one illustration that might be useful in an infographic that you can use. Look at this. If you have an account, again, this is some stuff that your graphic designer will know or your agency if you use one. The first file, this is basically the size. Use the smallest file on your website because you want images to load fast, not slow. So this is 131 kilobyte, which is a good enough resolution for website. If you at some point wanted to print a banner, a large format banner, go down and use one of the biggest image, like a 1920 by 1280. Or if you have access to vector software, download the vector graphics because that will give you a lot more flexibility to adjust the color. If your color is orange, then you might want to customize this graphic with your brand color to elevate your brand presence. So knowing what to download is very useful. And again, it's free. You cannot complain about it. All right? Now, you notice the search allows you to search for photo, illustration, vector files. They even allow you to search for videos that are royalty-free, music, sound effect, GIF, so on and so forth. Just for giggle, solar panel, right? And then I'm going to look for video. Again, being royalty-free, the selection are limited. However, I've used this long enough, it doesn't limit me enough, all right? So here are some videos of solar panels that if you don't have the budget to hire someone to film, well, Oklahoma doesn't have that beautiful ice mountainscape there, so not as relevant. But there's a video for you to use if you needed something. Again, the download, be aware of the size and where you are using it. Very powerful resource. If you don't use it and you're grabbing images online, please don't because someone's going to catch you. And those images online are the lowest of resolution. If you use those and print it on a brochure, your brochure is going to look cheap and you're going to look unprofessional. And then if you remember what I mentioned earlier, if you use a very powerful image on your website, think about how that image can translate on something that is printed and even in your office. If you have pictures hanging out in your office, repeat that image if you feel that image is powerful enough to translate a message that you wanted your audience to know and understand. Okay? This is just scratching the surface. A few things to walk away from. If you are using either ChatGPT or Gemini, make sure you have an account. It's free. They're going to upsell you. I am using everything free. I advocate free tools until you are ready to pay money for more functions. Don't buy a Ferrari and drive it like a Nissan. Buy a Nissan, drive it like a Nissan until you feel like you need more speed. Then go pay money. So ChatGPT and Gemini is always going to upsell you. This is ChatGPT 3.5. You have the option of upgrading and paying more. And they will kind of tease you about it. Like in the first few minutes of using ChatGPT, they will claim that this is version 4.0. Then after that, the time will stop and say, oh, we're reverting back to 3.5. Okay, don't be fazed by that. Don't accidentally click upgrade unless you feel that you're ready to use it to its potential. Gemini is the same thing. It's free, but you can go up to Gemini Advanced. For our purposes, depending on how much you use it, do it for free first and use it enough to justify paying for the service. And I cannot stress enough towards the end of this, the topic is very powerful for strategy. If you feel like these are the things that are resonating with your audience already, use that as a grid to create your strategy of communication to not only your people that buy stuff from you, but your staff if you're growing your team of employees. All right, thanks guys for participating in this workshop. And to contact me or learn more about me, go to my website at www.canyoubrand.me. Canyoubrand.me. Thank you.